山形有朋陸運卿よりお言葉なる。
維新がなって10年、この国は一つになり、西欧諸国を模範に新しい歩みを続けている。京都暴力が支配した時代は終わったのだ。久しぶりだな。どこに雲隠れしておった。この10年、腕の立つ流浪人が人を助けたという噂が立つたび、部下をやって調べさせた。力を貸してくれ。あの男だ。
剣は人を殺すための道具にあらず、人を生かす剣を理想とする神谷活心流がある。
人を生かす剣。あんな女を助ける価値があるか。
助ける価値のない人間などいない。
サザエと切ってきたお前が今さら坂本をどうした。ふざけるな。
勝負だ。日村抜刀斎。
死ね。
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the ECS Network collaboration of 8-Star Anime. Me is Chris Brown and Will from Chop-Socky Cinema as we dive into live action anime in Rurouni Kenshin, Part 1, Origins. That's right, this is only Part 1 of 3 Rurouni Kenshin movies here within the last couple years.
Really?
Yeah,
When are the other two supposedly being released?
they already are.
They already are?
Yeah, these movie series came out within the last 2 years. I can't remember exactly when they did.
Oh.
And I mean, within the States, anyways. Probably a little bit longer when it was released in Japan. Not too much longer though, because Funimation didn't take too long to actually get the rest of this.
Probably there before Logo got a chance to get to grab it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure Funimation wouldn't have wasted a chance considering they did the. Well, I'm thinking, no, they didn't have the Rurouni Kenshin series beforehand. I think Viz Media did.
They did, and then when Viz Media went not down.
Yeah, but they're still there.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, they're still there.
They're still there, but they sold off some of their copyrights. So
Yeah, so
same thing with ADV Films that did the whole Samurai X, which is really the Rurouni Kenshin OVAs, which is a series I love. Only 4 episodes, but they're awesome 4 fucking episodes. Just saying that.
Yeah, I do agree.
You get to meet his master in the OVAs, and that dude is just badass. Especially that the first thing you meet him, he just cuts a dude down, and someone was like, asks his name, he goes like, I don't tell my name to those who are about to die.
Yeah.
He's like, you can see the bastard. As soon as he runs up to him, cuts the dude down like he's nothing. Yep.
Oh,
Man had a point.
So, for those of you who are wanting to dive into this lovely world of Rurouni Kenshin, just remember it's not 100% kid friendly. It is a little mature rated, mainly for the blood and gore that is for its time period. Well, you have to remember this is set in the beginning of this, set at the very end of the Japanese Civil War.
The feudal states era or something like that. I
it is.
forget what it's called.
I
think that's what it is.
But this, the beginning of this movie is pretty much the end of the Civil War, and we get this, bloody battle where we're watching, was it Jin and Kenshin and all them. Pretty much.
You don't get to see Jin until
Not Jin.
Excuse
me, not Jin. What's his name?
Just Kenshin and Saito, but you only see Saito and 2 other Shinsengumi members.
Yeah, and they're going around pretty much being badasses as they are, cutting everyone down.
But you don't see the only person you actually see fighting in the beginning of the movie is Kenshin. You don't see Saito fighting. You just kind of see him just strolling through. He takes out a dude like a swing and then keeps going.
Keep going. It's pretty much badass, right? It's like these guys didn't even have a chance. And now that they get news, fight's over, war's over, and Kenshin's now relieved that he no longer has to have bloodshed. Thus, pretty much walking off the battlefield, sword and ground, and like, all right, we're done. And of course, this is also the same time we see Saito, who is on the enemy team, but he's actually survived somehow and has decided, all right, let's go make something of this, And then we skip a few years ahead into the Meiji era.
11 years.
Yeah, 11 years. So skip ahead 11 years into the Meiji era, 1878. And unless sure Saito or Kenshin, as a samurai, life was not necessarily going well for you.
Well, if you were a traditional samurai.
You were discussing this earlier about
like if
going
you
on.
were like the difference between the 2 samurai that you see is not all samurais were, I guess, the warrior scholar that a lot of historical fact, and other people have romanticized all samurai to be. A lot of them were just warriors. They were a warrior class, and they had a class system of their own. Granted, it was really respected, but there were a lot of people who used it for their own personal gains and stuff like that. But basically the elite samurai, which is where you get the whole romanticization of samurai, which is one of the things I like and I love about it. The whole scholar warrior type deal. The examples would be people like Kenshin, people like Saito, and in a sense, some of the bad guys too, Jin, Konishi, if he shows up in the next story arc like he should. Shushio should also show up in the next story arc because they're kind of both in the same arc. Guys like that, and you kind of those are the ones that you would consider the ones that have the traditional way of the samurai, learning from like all aspects of life as well as death.
Yes.
There's that.
In this way, Kenshin's still the badass samurai that we know. However, with the intent of no longer wanting to kill, he has decided to do what's called the reverse blade style, or
Sekibu sword.
Basically, his sword is actually done in reverse to a normal katana. As you can see here,
this is the bladed edge right here.
yes.
On the Sekibu, the bladed edge is the back half.
So,
You would still use the sword the same exact way, but you won't ever hit them with the blade. You'll hit them with the blunt part.
so you're looking for more like disarming, knocking someone out, stuff like that. So it's there for
Disabling.
Which Kenshin does a lot. He did a lot in the series.
Oh yes.
A lot. Knocking them out, disarming everybody, just
He's the very first fight scene.
yeah.
The very first fight scene after
the war.
which I'm still kind of convinced is a version of Sekigahara. I still want to say that because of the amount of bloodshed in that one little battle scene.
Yeah.
And the snowfield and everything, and all the terrain even was just like, this could quite possibly be Sekigahara, but I don't know, but it could have been someone basically going from the whole from like this horrible tragedy that happened during the great like Civil War. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And going from there and saying it kind of started because when the Battle of Chop-Socky took place, it wasn't long. It actually wasn't long after that restoration actually happened for the Civil War ended.
So, to keep things relatively short, our storyline, for those who have been fans of Rurouni Kenshin, this is the first major story arc for the series where it's the opium.
It's the opium smugglers
story arc, and
opium smuggler / gin storyline.
Yeah.
I'll get his name right eventually. I know it's not Jin. I give up. I've tried like 9 different ways to pronounce that damn name, and I apparently watch it's something fucking simple too.
Yeah,
I bet you fucking money it's something simple, and it's just apparently my brain is just like, no, you're gonna mess this one up. It's gonna be crap.
Nah, who knows? Let people complain. We ain't worried about it. They know who we're talking about.
But I do like the fact just about everybody so far has been in this movie.
Yes.
Saito's in it. Zanza's in it. I'm sorry. Snosuke Segura, i.e. Zanza the gangster.
Now, what makes it so great is
Kaoru Yagiko.
as you're watching the movie, you'll notice they'll take scenes either from manga to anime, practically frame for frame, shot for shot, and I think that's part of this movie's greatest outcome. It literally is as you remember Rurouni Kenshin. Now they do add some scenes to kind of do either clarification or to get you the exact idea of how these characters are to be played out, or why they made the decisions they made. And I like that, especially at the beginning where Kenshin's being told, "Hey, you know,
Saito at the end of the war,
yeah,
where he goes like, where Saito basically confronts him and goes like, this is not the end of this," and instead of like alluding to a battle that may or may not have happened. They actually go that step further and show Kenshi's like, no, I'm done, and basically jams his sword in the ground and just walks off. And just walk away from Saito.
And that's literally the end of that, and they were like, and opening credits. I'm like, all right,
I like that. I actually like the fact that they put that in there. So.
it works for me. So, folks, this is the part where it's going to get a little tricky. This is our first collaboration, and it's kind of like, whoa, how do we rate this thing? Personally, I think we should do it the old-fashioned way. We can go 8-star route where I'll give it my ratings, and we'll kind of chop it up to Chop-Socky and their personal ratings as we kind of go through it. Because there's a two-way streak to this. As we said before, this is a live-action adaptation of a classic, well-known anime. Basically, I'm not going to go through each of the things, visual. We can talk about visuals, audio, and all that, yada, yada. This movie all around is just good. It's visually stunning. I mean, the issue is there is a bit of an issue where CG kind of it doesn't really take away from the scene, but it's plainly obvious that CG is used for some of the blood animation and whatnot. However, it doesn't really take away from it, considering.
And it doesn't look bad.
No,
it's just I just happened to notice it because I thought that was a cool blood effect.
Yeah,
and I was wondering how they do that because I for a while really wanted to go into special effects.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of special effects in movies that people are just like, that's impossible. That could never be done. That's what a special effects guy's job is to do, is to figure out to take a certain stunt that you see in a movie and make your brain go like, there's no way that's possible, and for them to actually go like, hey, this is possible. Granted, we had to fudge, like, had to mess with some physics and stuff to get this shit to work, but
that's, hey, that's the nature of when you decide to take an anime and turn it live action. If you want to make it as cool and close to accurate as it was in the anime and manga, yeah, it's like, as accurate as you want things to be, it's much better just to go ahead and make it the way it was originally done the first time.
it's like there's a little bit of wire work in it.
Yeah.
Especially with Kenshin and Saito as well.
Oh yeah. Audio wise,
They really didn't overdo the wire work.
not really. I thought they kept things simple in my opinion. That's what I like about it. Like I said, they executed it real nicely. The audio, I thought music was well placed. Kind of did set the tone a bit, although I do have to admit, like they like their rock music. So you got that a lot going for it.
Oh no, man! The ending theme was actually really
cool.
I like that.
It was really nice. Your story, like I told you, it's pretty much the exact same major storyline that you would see in the anime and manga. So it's not
more the anime. I forgot.
More anime.
I forgot the first story for the manga. It's been a really long
time. The series itself is quite old, so it's kind of but it's still
I think it was 23.
Yeah, it's been a while.
3, 4, something like that.
So,
Which big shout out to Heather Mills for introducing me to it and letting me when fan subs were a thing and nobody had it licensed. Thank you. Just saying that.
And then my overall enjoyment is it's 2 thumbs up. It's really nice. I'm glad they decided to be like, hey, let's do a part 2 and part 3. So hopefully we'll be able to get to that later down the line. So if I had to give this anything, without going into specifics and keep things real quick, really a 7 out of 8 stars for this particular series. It's executed really nicely, and can't wait to talk about more of it. And how about Chop-Socky? How we?
Well, I'll tell you something. A major thing that I really did like about the show, because the whole "would you like, would you like" kind of thing. What I actually enjoyed a lot were the fight scenes, the way they were done, the choreography, and just kind of I don't know if they sped up the film or not, but just the breakneck pace of the actual sword fighting. I like that. Some of the visual effects, really huge fan of. Like I said, the CG was done in places and done with just the right amount to make you curious about it, whether or not it was. And unfortunately, well, not really unfortunately, but on closer inspection, you saw the CG and you're like, oh, okay, that's actually a nice way of doing it. It wasn't horrendously overdone. As for something I didn't like, there wasn't too much about this that I didn't like. I liked pretty much the whole entire thing. One thing I actually didn't like, because I will nitpick just for a little bit, is some of the liberties that they took with the story. The story, from what I'm remembering from the anime. Mm-hmm. There's one part that happens at the near end of this story arc, where you actually see Kenshin reverse the blade. Not when he's fighting Jin, because you do see that at the end too, at the end of the series, right when Megumi tells them that Kaoru's been captured. Sorry if I just spoiled that, but if you've seen the series, you know that's going to happen. So he reverses the blade because the way the drug dealer gets his final comeuppance, he doesn't believe that Kenshin still has it in him, or that he would ever reverse the blade. Reverse the blade chops like a light post in half. I thought that was cool. And then there's they actually did move the fight between Zanza and Kenshin from a different location.
Yes.
Because it's actually at the dojo, the training hall that they call the training hall, the dojo that Kaoru is teaching at. That's where they had the fight because Zanza immediately goes there to try to fight. And also that's where you also meet Saito, where Saito meets him as well for the second time. But that's enough nitpicking.
I mean, that's my thing. That's why I don't think I was able to give it anywhere near a bad score or that nature because all I'm gonna do is nitpick, and at that point, it's not a bad thing. It's just me kind of going,
Being a dick.
yeah. So
we've all been there. It's just that whole thing of if you don't nitpick so much that you become a troll, but basically nitpick enough to where yes, this is a really good movie. It's awesome, but there are flaws like there are in everything. So we'll go for it like that.
So how about your score?
As far as we score, we do the whole paper crane scale thing. I would definitely give this 4.5 paper cranes because even though everybody else would give stuff like perfect scores, I have decided since the past couple there were a few that I gave perfect scores to that I went back through and was like, you know what, I really shouldn't have. So I'm actually probably not going to give anything a perfect score for a really long time or ever again.
It's just one of those things where they hit the marks where it needed to be. There's areas where I think might have been better improved, but that's more personal taste than it is something that was truly bad.
Yeah, I mean, because there was nothing really truly bad.
I mean, this is why this movie and the series in general has been praised pretty highly.
How long is it?
The extra movie itself is actually, sorry, hold on a second. They changed. 134 minutes. So you're looking
2 hours 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like literally did not feel like 2 hours. Didn't feel like it was over 2 hours. It felt like it was either right at 2 hours or just under 2 hours.
Just because a lot of the stuff went by so quick when they started, especially some of the fight scenes, nothing seemed slow.
Yeah, definitely did not. The fight scenes definitely did not seem slow. And oh man, the fight in the library in the study, dude, that was an awesome fight. I'm just gonna say that right there.
Oh man, I enjoyed this movie a lot.
Same here.
And I'm so glad Funimation didn't hesitate to snatch it up, and go ahead, boom, produce, because they literally, because in Japan the movies came out in fairly quick succession, and which even for a movie industry it was ridiculously quick.
Well, it's kind of like the Ginger Snaps movies.
Yeah,
because the Ginger Snaps movies were filmed like 1, 2, and 3, like
the boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it was like boom, boom, boom. Well, it was more like 1 was filmed and then they waited like a couple years and then filmed 2 and 3 basically within a year of each other.
Here, this I would say was probably closer to the months of until we got 1, 2, and 3, because it didn't take long for Funimation to go, yoink. All right, here you go. Here's part 1, and then here's part 2. All right, here's part 3. And I was like, well, dang, y'all work quick. I was like, Jesus. I'm about to say, you guys knew where money was at. I was like, so good job, Funimation. You brought something good. If I hit a good one here, just trust me, I've seen some of your series. Some of them, probably should have thought about it.
So no poo-poo.
Yes.
Poo-poo.
Well, that's just the nature of the business. Someone will like it. So otherwise, you wouldn't even bother with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, for our first collaboration, I think we successfully did it. I think we're in the goods. What do you say?
Sure.
Don't worry.
It could have been worse.
Don't worry, we can always do better next time. So, because we still got some extra collaborations coming down the line. I'm sure by the time we see this, we'll probably get closer to October and the Halloween season. please look forward to watching some of our choices for J-horror in the anime world. And I'm sure Chop-Socky probably won't be too far behind in their movie choices and such. Unless you plan on having some other options down the line for October, Halloween season.
Well, I really didn't, but Josh has a few things for the whole October thing.
Well, I figured, we can hit up the theme-ish a little bit thing, hit up the scary side. You'd be surprised. Me and Dave did one that I didn't think we'd actually do. A Netflix exclusive. You'll have to see. It's actually really good. It's actually kind of fun, and we decided it was kind of fun to do. You'll see. A little anime adjacent, but it works, and we thought it would fit the theme for our first season of October. We do plan on doing the Hellsing Ultimate series. We thought that would be appropriate for the month, but we want to hear from you. What do you think we should do coming closer and closer to Halloween for the Halloween season? 8-Star Anime is always up on the Facebook page or on YouTube in the comment section of all our shows. Just kind of let us know what you think. I'm sure Chop-Socky would like to see some ideas for movies they may want to do for October, if not just further down the line.
Always.
So just let us know how you feel. And don't forget to check out all the other shows on the ECS network. I'll let you say sometime Denzi Caster with your regular host, Michael Brown. Also our
Rage Quit Radio.
Yeah, Rage Quit Radio with Joe. And we also have the booking office, along with our
JJ on the road.
Yeah, JJ on the road. All of these great shows that we just have coming, just flowing in. And we all thank you for all your contribution, all your views, all your likes. Please, click like and share anything that you want everyone else to see, and it's really well appreciated. So, anything else there?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chris.
I'm William.
We'll see you next time.